Hello everybody, welcome to GM. Today we are going to analyze the game between Mikhail Tal and Grandmaster Alexander Koblents, a game held in 1957 in Riga, URS, where Mikhail Tal is playing white and Alexander Koblents is playing black, and game start with e4, c5, knight f3, d6, d4, c takes d4, knight takes d4, knight f6, knight c3, knight c6, knight bishops g5, e6, queen d2, bishops e7, and castle. This is the game known as Sicilian defense, Richard Roger classical variation. And one thing people always say, never play the Sicilian defense against Mikhail Tal, because he's gonna cross in the future if you play the Sicilian defense against him, because you can see he black has to ready to castle, and Mikhail already finishing his development and ready to push this pawn forward, and game begin. Black castles to the king side, knight d3. It's a normal move, by the way, and queen b6 playing by Koblents, and he's trying to cover up the black file and try to make some counterplay in the b file as well. f3, it's normal stuff, by the way. a6, g4. He's ready to cross by pushing those poison pawn forward and trying to kill the king. Rook d8, trying to covering the d file, and here's Mikhail, like I can play like normal stuff and pushing this pawn forward, but he play bishops e3 and black play queen c7. Now Mikhail Tal play the brilliant move, which even Stockfish doesn't understand clearly. This move is h4, b5, and here now Mikhail play the move g5, attacking the knight and pushing those pawn forward, and he's going to cross his opponent. Knight goes back to d7, and here is the move I didn't understand, and even the computer doesn't understand this move playing by Mikhail Tal. This move is g6. Now you have two different ways to capture. You can capture with d pawn, or you can capture with f pawn. If you capture with f pawn, you can your e6 pawn is weak, which can be attacking in the future. You can see computer doesn't understand this move clearly, and saying what and showing what arrow, and Alexander here take with the h pawn and keep everything intact in this diagonal. And here's Mikhail Tal never play the move without a reason, because he is a genius. Like, he is always playing with a drunk and anything else like that, but he is a genius. He is a living genius. He is like a psychopath in chess. For him, chess is like a nothing. chess is like this is not just like a normal game, beating like beating grandmaster like eating breakfast like that. And he takes with g pawn, and Mikhail takes with the rook and trying to create the checkmate threat in the h file. Queen here and rook here is checkmate, and here Alexander play the best move in this position, attacking the rook with the knight. Sorry, knight back to h1, and here is like threat of checkmate here. So Koblent open the file and covering the square with the king, alongside he's attacking the king side with the queen, pawn, and anything else. Here's Mikhail play the genius move. Computer showing like this move and this move and going deer and for the mate like this, but Mikhail Tal here play the genius move, pawn to e5, blocking the queen for this diagonal where queen is going and making checkmate threat here, and he's blocking with the pawn. You have to take with the knight, because if you take with the queen, then bishops here, and your queen doesn't have an option. If you go here like bishops there, and your queen is completely trapped, so you have to take with the knight. So Alexander takes with the knight, and Mikhail sees with bishops the diagonal, completely seizing the diagonal and threatening to queen h2 and queen h8 mate here, and bishops to d6, trying to open up this diagonal again and creating some space for queen to run in the future. And queen h2, same threat, trying to checkmate, and Alexander making his escape move as well. And now here Alexander kings run away, and Mikhail checks with the queen. He has to run, or he can block, but running is better here, but he blocked with the knight. And other rook join the party, attacking the same pawn and attacking the king side again with the rook. And Alexander defends with the queen and trying to threat like knight g6 and knight g6 and forking the bishops and the queen here. But now Alexander missed the move, and Mikhail finds it. It's bishops to h6, attacking the same pawn again with the same idea, but you cannot take with the pawn. You cannot take with the pawn because of your queen is hanging. So Alexander defends with the rook, and here other side of the board, completely giving of the free bishops. You can take with the you cannot take with the pawn, because those knights are coming for the diagonal and open up the file and with the same idea again. And here's he play rook to f7, protecting the pawn and trying to open up the diagonal. Rook to g1 with the same idea, attacking the same pawn with the 22 materials like two rooks, queen, and the bishops. And this bishops is also covering the escapes route of the king. Rook a7, completely collapsing the seventh file with the rook, queen, and rook, knight, bishops, and everything else. But white bishops is covering the escaping route, and other knight jump into the party and trying to come forward like forking and like coming to attacking the rook. Other knight join the party simply, and knight to g4 defending. This is a genius move, by the way, attacking the bishops with sacrifice the knight. Mikhail take with the f pawn, and he defends with the bishops to e5. Knight c6, attacking the rook and blocking the escaping path of the king. Bishops takes c3, doesn't allow this knight to come forward and threat to win the queen in the future, but you cannot go further because of the pin. And Mikhail doesn't even take the free rook, but he take back bishops to the e3, trying to attacking the bishops from here to check like this stuff. And Alexander find the best move here, attacking the bishops. Mikhail here hanging these bishops, this knight, and everything is hanging. This pawn, everything is hanging here. And he play rook to h1, putting more and more pressure to the same diagonal here. Rook back to d7 with the same idea, and bishops to g5, trying to cover up this diagonal. Pawn takes b, pawn takes bishops in b5 square. Rook 1 h6, and trying to make like check and threat to win the pawn. d3, trying to make some counterplay here and trying to check the king, but king has the free square to run. B takes c3, d2, king d1, and queen takes c6. And he can check with here, and he can not check with s file, by the way, but he can check from here. But king has the run like many square here. Mikhail check with the rook, and threat to win the knight. And if you move like here, mm, you can take with the pawn and rook. Everything is hanging there. Rook back to f7. And Mikhail take with the queen, because you cannot take the queen because of this pin. And king has to go here. Takes, check. King can go here. You can check with there. And now Mikhail can come c file, and you can check with there. You can come to b file as well. You can sacrifice the rook. Those are all are the computer line. Stockfish 17, by the way. And this is a beautiful checkmate combination by Mikhail Tal.